Hey, what's up, coach? Welcome back to the podcast. Today is episode 175. We've done a lot of podcasts here, and we've done a lot daily over the last couple of weeks. I want to make sure if you've missed any of these episodes, go back and listen to them. We are reaching a lot of coaches right now, and I'm really passionate about the episodes we've put out, especially today's. This is an episode that I believe is probably going to be the most important one I put out. And in the future, the episodes are going to be based around what we talk about today. And first, I want to start with a crazy story. And I heard this story. This happened a long time ago. But there was this coach who was really shy. He was really hesitant. He never got out of his comfort zone. He always thought people who had money were bad. They were con artists. So he had a terrible relationship with money. He was a really shy guy. He was afraid of rejection his whole life. He never started talking to girls till he was in college. This guy was just always hesitant. And to be honest, most people out there are like this. He never broke out of his shell, and he never took self-responsibility. He'd always blame others for the lack of his success. He'd stay up late and sleep in late. He did not have a mission. He'd always get jealous seeing other trainers in his city succeed. He'd post on Facebook or Instagram about how he was grinding and how he was working so hard. And he only did that so he could get some likes. And he needed these likes on social media because that was the only thing that made him feel good. He chased bright, shiny objects. He would wait and wait and wait for prospects to reach out to him. But often he heard crickets. He looked like a successful baller on social media, but he was a dead, broke trainer. On Fridays, he'd go out with his friends and drink the pain away. He started to develop some terrible habits. He was a freaking loser, but only he knew. He was uncommitted to everything he did in his life. At times, he'd think about getting a 9-to-5 job with a steady paycheck, but nobody knew it except for him. On the outside, he looked cool, but on the inside, he was stressed out like a time-ticking bomb. Did this guy sound familiar? Well, this guy was me, and this is my 1.0 version. And when I look back at this guy, I really don't even recognize that person. And ultimately, I had to sack up and change my life. It wasn't just me learning how to try to run a business. It was me changing who I am. And this is hard for me to tell you. But this was real. I remember on Fridays, it was like the money that I was making, I would just go blow it and get super drunk. And I'd go home and I became extremely addicted to tobacco during that time, which is a terrible vice. And not only that, though, it's like during the day, I would constantly be dipping and I would use that as a mechanism for everything. It's like if I was stressed, I would do it. If I wanted to get focused, I would do it. If I was mad about something, I would do it. If I was really happy about something, I would do it. And that was a horrible habit that I got into. And I will tell you, all of that happened, the drinking, the doing tobacco. The only reason why that was really happening was because I wasn't happy with who I was. And I was very insecure. And my life started to change when I started to level up. And that first started with a business coach. I needed someone who could point me in the right path, not just with my work life, but with my personal life. And over the years, I've made several changes to who I am. And the funny thing is, most people, I would say 99.999% of people who are in my life never knew I suffered with that. So this is the first time I'm talking about it. And all I can say is I don't miss that person. That person was, I felt like that was an embarrassing part of my life. And as I started to change as a person, though, I started to realize, wow, like my business is doing better. I'm becoming more organized. I'm becoming more driven. I have a mission. You know, this is something that is impacting a lot of kids. And as I started to make those shifts, I developed something that I believe can also change your life. And looking back at that period of my life where I was struggling, I was a broke trainer, barely making any money, living paycheck to paycheck with training. And I point back to 4 things that have really helped me. And these are 4 things I practice daily. And I want you to write these down if you have a chance. If not, I think you'll remember them. But here's what it is. I'm gonna go through these one by one, and then I'll break each one down. And I call it the B code lifestyle. And the first is building your body. The second is boss up who you surround yourself with. Third is breaking your comfort zone. Fourth is believing in your mission. So let's talk about the first one. So back in the day, I would just train kids, go home, and do nothing. I would wake up with zero purpose. I never got real exercise. I thought the exercise I was getting was with the kids that I trained. And my health started to slip. Like I would eat terrible. I would stay up really late. And the older you get, the harder that is to maintain. And so when I say build your body, that means when you wake up in the morning, that's one of the first things that you do. You are taking care of your health. And this is the thing, is the kids that are training with you, they look at you as a role model. So if you show up to your sessions and you're like out of shape, you're breathing hard when you're talking, you have a lack of energy, that's your fault. That's no one else's fault. That's your fault. And I had to take self-responsibility with that. And that's one of the changes I had to make was, you know what, Ben, you're going to go to the gym every day. Monday through Friday, it's part of your life. It's going to happen. And if you hung out with me, that's my schedule. In the morning, like before I go work, that is what I do, right? And I can tell you when that happens, you have way more energy when you are working on your business. You have way more energy when you're working in your business. And so that should be standard for you. And if you aren't doing that, guess what? You should start doing that. It's going to improve every area of your life. The second is boss up who you surround yourself with. And back in the day, the guys that I used to hang out with, the girls I used to hang out with, I would say my surroundings, they were people that I knew I did not want to be like. All right, I'm going to say that again. They were people that I knew I did not want to be like. So I was surrounding myself around a bunch of idiots. And again, I had to take self-responsibility. And as the years went on, I got pickier and pickier with who I surrounded myself with. Because I heard this quote, and I felt like this quote really changed my mindset. is you'll become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. All right. So if you spend your time around 5 losers, you're going to be a loser. On the flip side, if you spend your time with 5 winners, 5 champions, 5 people that you strive to be like, well, you're going to level up and play to their level. And so you got to be picky. And if you have a hard time with that, do what I did. Go to AT&T and get a new phone number. I'm serious. That's what I did. Like, those people who were in my life that have been trying to get in touch with me, they have not talked to me since I made these changes. And that sounds crazy, but I was sick and tired of that life. Like, what am I going to do? Just be buddies with them just because that's the nice thing to do? Nah, F that. You gotta be selfish when you're changing your life, because some people aren't going to like it. Now, the next one. Actually, before we get there, I'm going to tell you why it's important to surround yourself with the right people. Because if you want to be a positive person and you want to be a successful coach, you need to be around people who are positive and people who are successful. I mean, that's really the main reason why I started our mastermind. It's everyone's positive. There's no one moping around that crying about how their week went. Like, everyone is freaking on a mission, and everyone wants everyone to succeed. And when you hang out with negative people, you become negative. When you hang out with positive people, you become positive. All right, cool. Now, the next one, breaking your comfort zone. And really, the only person that's holding you back from anything is you. It's not anybody else. You are in your own way. And this was something I was afraid to admit back in the day. I always used to think, well, there's not enough parents who know about me, and it's my website's fault. Like, just take a step back and think about how retarded of an excuse that is. That's like the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And I would make excuses like that for everything. I would always blame somebody else, never took self-responsibility. And this is because I was trapped in this little comfort zone like a turtle. And I was so hesitant, so afraid. And I got pushed outside my comfort zone when I hired my first coach. And when I hired my first coach, it was $800 for 2 30-minute sessions a month. And I know most of you hear that would be like, oh, that's so expensive. I would never do that. If I didn't do that, I would not be on this podcast right now. I can tell you that. If I didn't do that, we would not be able to help any coaches with their business. And I remember just making that investment was outside my comfort zone, because I thought the same way, oh, this is not going to work. But that got me stretching outside my comfort zone. And what I learned from that coach was, Ben, why are you afraid to fail? And then once I realized, wow, like, this is why I'm afraid to fail. That's really stupid. Let's break this comfort zone. So I had to break that comfort zone. I had to break the comfort zone of talking and communicating. I was super shy, super hesitant. And really, like, if you want to succeed with anything, you have to go against the grain and break against the comfort zone that you're living in. Otherwise, you're going to stay the same. Like, nothing's going to change for you unless you make changes. And this is why every day you should do something that you're scared to do, that you know is going to benefit you personally and your business. And this is something that, you know, I wish if I had a billboard that I could put out on the highway that everyone sees, it would just say, get outside your comfort zone. Because that's the thing that scares people. And those who follow through with that get great results. Those who stay in their comfort zone never achieve anything. The last one here is believe in your mission. So this means every day you're working on your mindset. Every day you're looking at your goals. And if you don't have any goals, you need to write them down. This means that you're unbreakable. And everyone who's telling you, oh, Ben or Johnny or Chris, go get a real job or stay in the job you're in. You're getting a consistent paycheck. or your girlfriend's telling you, no, don't do that. That, like, I don't think that's going to work. F that. And this just comes down to sacking up and doing the thing that you know you want to do. Otherwise, you're just going to listen to everyone else for the rest of your life, which sounds like a terrible option. And so when you believe in your mission, this means that you're going to be a little prick about it. And this means no one's going to get in your way. Like, that's just flat out. And I know this sounds blunt, but this is flat out. Because if you're not like that, people are going to dictate the quality of your life. You won't. They will. Because they will tell you what to do, like a little puppy dog. And this is where you need to have the belief and you need to have the mission daily. And when you do these 4 things I'm talking about daily, you can get incredible results. That means you're going to the gym every morning. That means you are picky and you boss up with who you surround yourself with. And this means you probably find some new friends. This means after you listen to today's episode, you think about, man, who do I need to cut out of my life today? Otherwise, like, that's not going to change, right? This means daily you're breaking your comfort zone. Daily you believe in your mission. And what happens when you do all of these 4 things daily, you'll have a breakthrough. And that's where it all leads to. But none of the breakthrough never happens until you build your body, until you boss up, until you break your comfort zone, until you believe in mission. Like, if one of those things is lacking, you will not have a breakthrough. Promise you that. Can't just keep doing the same thing you're doing right now to get different results. So that's it for this podcast, guys. When you hear me say in upcoming episodes, hey, you need to start living the B code, like, this is what I'm talking about. And you got to take a deep look in the mirror. Are you doing this or not? Like, are you making excuses? Are you being like me where you just drink and you're being a little idiot because you're scared and you're disappointed with your life? Or are you going to sack up here and start making changes? And this is a blueprint. This is a blueprint of how you can succeed. And the cool thing, this has nothing to do with like tactics of business. This has everything to do with you personally. Because if you don't personally make a change, nothing will improve with your business. And I'm telling you that right now. Like, you could go buy any of my products. You could join our Mastermind program. Coaches who do not change do not get results. But my goal is once they get in front of me, I will help them change. I will force them to change, even if they don't want to do it. And so if you are ready to make that change, you should join me in our Mastermind program. We live the 4 B's here. That's what we do. That's what we talk about. And all the business advice will stem from doing these 4 things. That's it for the episode, guys. If you enjoyed it, make sure and leave us some feedback here on iTunes. We've gotten a lot of reviews recently. Thank you for doing that if you're listening. And, it was hard for me to come on here and tell that story because honestly, it's embarrassing. But I know that there's a couple of people listening to this right now that I know it's going to help. That's why I did it. So that's it. I'll see you tomorrow. Check out www.buildmysportsbiz.com and click on the Mastermind button if you are ready to change your life. That's it. I'll holler at you later.